I am George Marajanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club had been meeting every Wednesday evening from 7 to 11 in the McKay complex at the university. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been in suspension since March of this year. And hopefully we'll be able to return to Fitchburg State University to engage in in-person, over-the-board play when the pandemic is declared over, for us to return safely and resume play at the university. Now with me today, once again, is our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg, recipient of the prestigious FATV's Boulder Award in 2009. And with him is a fellow resident, a longtime Wachusett Chess Club member, and now currently a very active online chess player who won a tournament online very recently titled the Dave Kuchar Sexagenarian Open Tournament. And that's our Brian Bigelow, again, a Fitchburg resident, Brian Bigelow. And across from me, not too far from me, is Dave Kuchar himself.
6 feet
Dave,
away.
speak of the devil, Dave Kuchar, who is also a very active online chess player now, but he is the club, Wachusett Chess Club statistician, photographer. He does everything. He's an author. He's written a chess book. When there was actually chess tournaments being played, Dave would play in these tournaments. So it's none other than my trusty co-host, Dave Kuchar, Westminster. Hello, Dave. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Well, Dave, today's program is about a major international chess event that was held, well, it ended a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And it was the World Olympiad. It
Yep.
was actually held by the World Chess Federation, which is known more by its French acronym, FIDE,
Yep.
F-I-D-E,
Yep.
which stands for Fédération Internationale des Échecs.
Right.
Most people know it as FIDE. We call it FIDE. But this was held online, and I'm going to have you explain what happened in that.
Well, they did it in place of the normal Olympiad, which
Right,
they
they
have
couldn't do
every
it in
2 years.
person.
So they couldn't do it in person. Normally, they have essentially a men's Olympiad with
Right.
teams of 4, and they have a women's Olympiad with teams of 4.
Right.
This time, they sort of combined it. Every country had one team.
One team.
Of
Okay.
6 players, so I think each team had to have, so basically had 2 men, 2 women,
Right.
a junior male and a junior female
Okay.
on
So,
each team, and for 6 boards.
right. So when a match is played, 6 boards play.
Six against 6, right.
Okay.
And it was 163 countries, I think I said.
Wow.
At the
Yeah.
start.
Well, you know that's why the World Chess Federation is the second largest sports organization in the world, only second to the FIFA, which is for soccer,
soccer,
the
okay,
International Federation,
Yep.
for football, which
Yep.
is soccer, to most of the world call it
Yep.
football.
Yep.
But it's huge. You say 163
163
teams?
Yep.
Teams? Okay, that's huge. That's a huge setup. Now, we should probably show photos. Darren has photos of members of the team. These are file photos.
The U.S. team, yeah.
So let's actually see some of the, all right, now who is this? This must be the top player for the
Yeah.
U.S. team?
Wesley So.
What's the Grandmaster Wesley
Grandmaster.
So, yeah, who's,
I think he's one of the top 10 in the world right now.
yes, he is. He is among the top 10.
At least top 20.
Okay, who else do we see on the team? Now, this fellow, Grandmaster Sam Shanklin,
Yeah.
has a Massachusetts connection because he graduated from Brandeis University in Waltham.
Yeah.
I think he's from all California, but
I think so, yeah.
But he went to school in Massachusetts.
And he's
Sam Shanklin.
Last year, I think,
Yes.
was the U.S. champion.
Yes, he's a former U.S. champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who else do we see here on the team? Now this looks like, who is this?
This is Anna Zatunska.
Anna Zatonsky. Yeah, okay.
She's many-time U.S. women's
Yes,
champion.
she has won the U.S. Women's Championship. Yeah, multiple times. This looks like Ray Robson, Grandmaster Ray Robson.
Yep.
Who I think is from Florida. I think he grew up in Florida.
Okay.
I don't know where he lives now, but
I'm not sure.
that's Ray, strong, one of the strongest players in the country, Ray Robson. Now, who else do we see? Now, Jeffrey Shung, Grandmaster Jeffrey Shung.
Grandmaster, yeah.
Another top Grandmaster from the United States.
So he's a junior because he's under 20, I believe,
yes,
right?
I think he's still, yes, under 20. Yeah, I believe you're right. Who else do we see here? Now, this gal is no stranger to us,
Right.
especially to you, because you were the last person to defeat this young glass
Yep.
at the Wachusett Chess Club when she played at the Wachusett Chess Club.
Yep.
She won the Wachusett Chess Club in 2014 when she was 10 years
10
old.
years old, yeah.
A perfect score. She won all her games.
Yeah.
And she's now an international master. She
Yeah.
actually is working now for the Grandmaster title.
Yeah.
She's a woman Grandmaster,
Right.
which is a title below International Master.
Yeah.
But Carissa Yip, our 2014 Wachusett Chess Club champion, is there, and she played on the team.
Yeah.
We're very proud of her,
Yeah,
naturally.
absolutely.
And there is Tatef Abrahamian.
Right.
Now, is Tatef, she's a woman Grandmaster, or is she? I don't think she's a Grandmaster. but
No, she's not a grandmaster.
I think she's a woman Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Or maybe she's actually an International Master, too.
She could be, yeah.
Yeah, right. But that Tatef, she's from California, Tatef Abrahamian.
She actually lives in Los Angeles, I know that.
Yes. Oh, where your daughter lives.
Where my daughter lives,
Y-
yeah.
Your daughter lives in Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, who else do we see here? Now, this has to be Annie.
Yeah.
Wait, is this Annie Wang?
Yep. Yep.
Annie Wang?
Yep.
Yeah, who Carissa Yip has faced many times.
Yep.
They're good friends, by the way.
Right.
Annie Wang and
Yep.
Carissa Yip. Annie Wang playing for the U.S. team. Anybody else? Do we have the whole team now? Yep.
That's it. Yep.
So we have the 8 members of the team. Now, here's what happened. What happened to the U.S. team? How did the U.S. team do in this
So
World
they
Olympics?
did very well,
Yes.
but in the semifinal against Russia, they lost, just barely, by the slimmest of margins, I think.
Yes, they
They
did.
lost against Russia.
Carissa did her part. She
Right,
won her
Carissa
game
won.
against
Yep.
Russia, her
Yep.
Russian opponent.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the team failed to win their match
Right.
in the crucial semifinals,
But it was very close.
and they got eliminated.
They were eliminated.
So Russia now is going into the finals. Now, who played in the other semifinals?
So
Was
it was India, and we think it was against Poland.
Poland. I believe it was Poland. And India
India won.
defeated Poland
Right.
in the semifinals, making a final match of Russia versus India.
Right.
Now, do you know what happened in that
Yeah,
match?
so
tell our viewers what
So-
happened in that match.
They did it with two separate matches. They play one match of 6-on-6, and then they
Yes.
switch colors and play another match of 6-on-6. In the first match, it was tied 3-3 between India and Russia.
Yes.
So in the second half, the second match, there had been 3 draws. Russia had won 1. There were 2 games still going on, and there was a massive internet failure in
Oh, really?
part of the world, and so the games were disconnected.
Yes.
One of the games where the one that India had actually lost, the Indian player had been disconnected for part of her game, so it's possible part of her loss can be attributed to some of the time she lost while she was disconnected.
Yes.
Anyway, there was a major internet disruption, and FIDE ended up just declaring co-champions.
Right.
Because if they tried to adjudicate those remaining games, India looked like they were winning one. The other
Yes.
one was who knows. They decided just call it co-champions. And
So what was the chess server that was conducting this?
I think it was chess.com.
Chess.com was doing
I
this.
believe so, yeah.
But they were not guilty of,
Right, it
of the
was-
disconnect. I mean, this is a pretty widespread
Very widespread internet disruption.
internet disruption.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the FIDE, the president, said, "No, we'll just declare them co-champions for 2020."
yeah, I think what I heard was there's like some small committee
Yes.
trying to decide what to do, and apparently they couldn't decide,
They couldn't decide what.
should happen, and
Right.
so I guess the president just
The president
said
stepped in and said, "We're going to declare this.
co-champions.
They're co-champions
End
for
of
this year."
story. And yeah.
Now, you know, the Olympiad, the chess Olympiad is held every 2 years. You know, the
Right.
regular Olympics
Right.
is held every 4 years.
Right.
Now, in fact, I would say most of our chess chat viewers would not know that chess was part of the regular Olympics.
That's right. Yeah.
Back in 1924, chess was played in the Summer Olympics. And I always get asked, well, why isn't chess still being played in the Olympics? In 1924, when the chess players played, it was held in Paris.
Yep.
And by the way, that was actually when the World Chess Federation was formed, in 1924, the year that they played. The organizers, the officials of the Olympics said, "You chess players are rather strange. You guys, you know, this event, Olympics, are supposed to be for amateur players. It was set up for amateurs. We don't want
Right.
any professionals
Right.
especially athletes. Especially
Right.
most of the events are athletic events.
Yeah.
We just want amateurs.
Right.
We said, you guys have not distinguished yourself between amateur and professional. We have no idea who's who. You're claiming to be amateurs. You're really probably professionals. So they never invited the chess players back in 1928 to play in the Summer Olympics
Okay, yeah.
in that year. So that's a little footnote to how chess was played in the 1924 Olympics, but never made it back. And there's a movement afloat to get chess back into the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to present to our chess chat viewers a game that Carissa, our own
Yep.
Carissa Yip, played actually in a previous round in the Olympiad.
Yep.
And it was against a young girl. I don't know how old she was, but she probably was a teenager.
She had to be under 20.
She had to be
to
under
be a
20,
junior,
all right,
yeah.
a teenager. And her name was Jennifer Perez Rodriguez
Yep.
from Paraguay.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to present this game because it's an interesting short game.
Right.
And the Jennifer from Paraguay had white. What did she open up against Carissa in the
She
game?
opens with E4.
Okay, good opening
One
move.
of the most popular opening moves.
All right. To which Carissa responded with what?
E5.
Okay, so we have what we call a double king pawn opening
Right.
right now. No name really given until we see more moves.
Right.
Jennifer now on her second move played knight f3, develops the knight on g1 to f3.
Attacking the pawn.
Pawn's under attack. So what did Carissa do in response?
Carissa plays knight c6, defending the pawn.
Okay. All right, white's third move. How does white proceed here?
Now white plays bishop to c4. Bishop to b5 is more common, but this is certainly a good move.
Right, okay, yes, right. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, the bishop, if the bishop comes out, there's only two squares it can go to that make sense.
Right.
Is either bishop b5 or bishop c4.
C4, right.
Okay. So, how did Carissa respond to bishop c4?
She plays knight f6, attacking
The pawn.
Jennifer's pawn.
Now, do we have a name for this opening now? We haven't played enough moves to give this opening a name temporarily. I mean, this is
Yeah, so I guess you said it'd be the two knights defense.
this is
for the
now
bishops.
known as the two knights defense, right?
Yep, yep.
Now, if Chris had brought the bishop on f8 out to
Right.
c5 instead,
Right.
we'd have a game known as the Italian game or gioco piano.
Right.
We in the United States and England always call this, in the old days, gioco piano. Gioco meaning is the Italian word for game. Piano means quiet or
Right. So
easy.
quiet game.
But most of the world calls it the Italian game.
Okay.
But Carissa didn't play the bishop to c5. She
Right.
played the knight to f6. So what did Jennifer do on her fourth move?
So on her fourth move, she plays d3, defending the pawn,
Okay,
opening up this diagonal for the bishop.
okay. And what did Carissa do in response to Carissa's d3?
She plays h6, which I guess is to prevent the bishop from
Now,
coming
is this
in and
normal?
pinning.
I mean, yeah, it does prevent the pin on the knight with the bishop to g5.
Yeah, it's not the most common, but
Yeah.
it's not.
But it's
not
in
that
vogue.
unusual.
Has it become in vogue now? to
That
play?
I don't know because
Okay,
yeah,
but it's playable. I mean, it's a line.
it's
that
certainly
is-
been played before. Yeah.
Okay. So what did Jennifer do now on her next move?
She plays c3.
Okay. All right. So it looks
Oh,
like
I guess did you want to point out?
no.
Okay.
no.
We won't point that
we
out.
won't
okay.
point out.
Yeah, we've got.
But we could. But no. But
Yeah,
let's
we
continue the game.
need
So
to
what
move
did
on.
Carissa do? She played what
She plays d6,
on her fifth move?
fifth move, so she can develop this bishop.
Okay. So now Jennifer, I believe, castled.
She did castle. Yeah.
Okay. King is safely on the king side.
Yep.
Okay. What did Carissa do now?
Now Carissa plays a very aggressive move.
Boy,
starts to
that
keep
is
on attack, yeah.
aggressive. Wow, can you imagine doing this early in the game like this? This is is this premature aggression or this is
This has been played before, so it's
yeah, I guess no, I guess so. I guess that was the purpose of h6. Not only does it stop the pin on the knight, but it also prepares the advance of the g pawn
right.
to g5.
Exactly. Yep. That's true.
Okay, it
Yep.
only makes sense. Okay, here is where Jennifer now played rook e1
Right.
because the rook on f1 has no future of
Right,
staying
so
on
now
f1.
it's
So it actually adds further defense of the pawn on e4.
right.
How did Carissa continue in this
She
position?
continues an aggressive attack by playing g4, attacking the knight.
Okay, so the knight now has to retreat somewhere.
Right.
Where does
So
white
pretty much it could go to the edge where it's somewhat
Yes.
out of play, or back
Yeah.
here.
Right, and that's what
Is
she did.
did.
Jennifer brought the knight
Knight
F
to
to
D2.
D2.
Yep.
Okay. Now what does Carissa do on her 8th move?
Again, she continues pushing
Wow.
the pawns on the king side, H5.
Now we should point out to our viewers that this game, because it's playing online, it's a virtual game.
Right.
What time control?
That's right. The time
What
control.
is the time control they're using for this
right.
game?
So it was game 15. Each player has 15 minutes for the whole game.
Yes.
Plus, they get 10 seconds added with each move.
Okay.
So there's not. It's not the
regular
3 or 4 hour.
No. This is if you're giving each player 15 minutes of thinking time and
Total.
giving an additional 10 seconds
Right.
for each move played.
Right.
Yeah. It's still it's a fast time control.
Yeah, it's
For-
considered rapid.
It's rapid.
Rapid,
Called
yeah.
rapid. Something, and in fact, the U.S. Chess Federation calls it quick.
Quick, right.
And then when it's played online, it's known as
called
rapid.
rapid, right,
It's one and the
so-
same thing. Quick chess and rapid chess.
But the point is, yeah, you can't sit and think for 2 or 3 minutes
No.
about your move.
No. You have
So-
to make your moves fast. Okay. So it's Jennifer's move. What does she do now?
So now she plays knight F1. So
Okay.
to open things up for that bishop,
Oh,
and maybe
wow. So now
redeploy the
it's
knight
the possibility that she could bring the bishop out to G5 and pin that knight.
pin this knight,
Okay.
right?
But what does Carissa do now?
So now she develops the bishop.
Yeah, she says, wait. Instead of pinning my knight, I'm going to actually offer an exchange of bishops. you know.
Right. So Carissa's pretty much
Yeah.
decided she's not castling on the king side. She's going to go castle on the queen side.
Okay. So after bishop h6 by Carissa, what does Jennifer
So
do?
Jennifer exchanges. Bishop takes h6.
Okay, that was her 10th move. And of course, there's only one move for black here.
Yep.
Is Carissa recaptures.
Rook takes h6.
Rook takes on h6. Okay, now what does Jennifer do? 11th move for her. What does she do here?
Yeah. So she plays d4.
Right? Does she have something better?
Probably another good possibility would be just to develop the knight.
Yes.
Here.
Get that knight back into play
This
here.
knight could sink in here or
Oh
here.
yes, with an attack on the rook.
Because
Yeah.
she's definitely
Yeah.
needs to be developing, but
Yeah.
d4 isn't horrible.
Okay, it's not the worst. Okay.
Yeah.
What does Carissa do now?
Now Carissa continues the
attack.
attack with h4.
Pushing the pawns on the king side.
Yeah.
That's king side aggression right there.
Yeah.
Early on. Now what does Jennifer do? 12th move for her.
12th move, bishop to b5, pinning the knight.
Okay. Oh, is there a threat now? I see
Right.
with the pin now. What is Jennifer threatening
And
now?
so the threat is that if she pushes the pawn on the next move,
Wow.
this knight can't
It's lo-
move anywhere.
Right.
It's lost.
Yeah, right. It'll be taken. Right. So Carissa cannot allow that to happen.
Right. So she plays bishop to d7, breaking the pin. So now if the pawn pushes, the knight can just hop away.
Okay. Now here is where Jennifer should be actually bring another piece into play. Get these
Right.
other pieces. Look
right.
at
So she has a chance to say bring this knight in to help out,
yes.
but instead she plays d takes e5.
Okay, let's see that. In fact, I haven't been following closely on
Yep,
the monitor.
yep.
Yeah, d takes e5. That's captured. And now there's different ways to take back here.
And probably
How
the
did
biggest problem with this move is now Carissa plays knight takes e5. So now this knight is also coming in to help with the
Okay, I
attack.
see that now. Knight takes the pawn on e5. Yeah, which he
So,
did.
so now both knights are taking part in the attack. The rook is, this bishop is headed that way, the queen.
Okay. Now Jennifer has a bishop which is undefended on b5.
Right, so she's got to do either
So
retreat
either retreat it or exchange the bishops. What does
she
she choose?
exchanges. So bishop takes d7,
Okay, let me see that. Yep, with a check, bishop takes d7, check.
and then Carissa takes back with the queen.
Right, queen takes d7, we'll see that. Okay. Carissa's 15th move coming up. What does she do?
Well, now this is Jennifer's
I'm Jennifer's move.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Jennifer.
knight b to d2,
So she finally develops that
Yep.
knight on b1 to the d2 square.
and Carissa castles on the queen side.
Okay, let's see that now. We'll see queenside castling, also known as long castling,
Right.
and Carissa did that.
So now this rook can come over and help out with the attack.
Okay, now what is Jennifer going to do on her 16th move? What did she do here?
So we're getting to a critical part of the game here. She plays queen e2.
Okay, let's look at, okay, we see this being played. Now, what does Jennifer have as a threat?
Yeah.
Is there a threat here for Jennifer in
There's
this
a threat,
position?
and Carissa said she apparently missed the threat, which is queen to e3, which is both attacking this rook and attacking this pawn, which
Ah.
would open things up over here.
Exactly. So that is actually White's threat here.
That's White's threat, and Carissa, I guess, missed it. Again, it's a pretty fast time
Yeah,
control.
they're playing game 15 plus a 10-second increment.
So,
So she missed. So instead of preventing that,
instead of preventing it,
brought
Continue
knight.
with the attack, knight
Yeah,
to
we
h5.
see the knight to the side of the board,
Yep.
right on the rim here. Now this allows Jennifer to play her queen
She
e3
plays
move.
queen e3, so she's attacking the rook and the a pawn.
And we got to save the rook. We certainly cannot
Right.
lose a piece like that. So what did Carissa do?
So
to save it?
Carissa brings the rook over
Right.
to defend it. Another possibility would have been simply to move the rook
Over to
so
the,
it's aiming down the f-file there.
okay,
But
all right.
she plays rook dh8.
She's
to
the,
defend
the
it.
double, right? Okay.
And now this is a part where Carissa said,
Yeah, does Carissa have a comment?
she said she wasn't sure why she didn't take here.
Because you contacted Carissa.
Yeah, I asked Carissa if she knew why, because this, even to a player of my strength, it seems like
Yeah.
an obvious move to take that pawn. You're threatening mate.
There's
the
a
next
mate in
move.
one. She's threatening, of course.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, Carissa said if she had done that,
She would have played,
probably brought the queen here or here, because
allowing the escape square for the king.
Right, to give the king an escape square. And Carissa said it would have been a very complex game after this if she had done it.
but you said also that the computer
And the computer
analyzed
says it's pretty
if
much
this had happened,
even chances for both sides.
really equal.
Yep.
So, okay.
But she didn't do it for whatever reason.
So she missed this opportunity. Jennifer missed the
She
opportunity
missed the
of
opportunity,
taking the pawn on a7.
and she developed this knight to b3.
Okay. Now Carissa realizes that pawn
Now
cannot
Carissa,
be
yeah.
taken, so
to
she has
prevent
time.
that, she plays king to b8, and now that threat's over.
Yep, there we see the king on the b8 square.
Yep.
All right. So what does Carissa do now?
So Jennifer's
Oh, sorry, Jennifer, right?
19th move, knight to d4.
Okay. All right, knight d4, so she's actually centralizing the knight.
Yep.
Okay, what is Carissa going to do for her 19th move?
Now Carissa does get the rook over on the
so she
f-file
moves the rook over
Yep.
to the f-file.
to help out with the attack. This is quite an attack.
All right. So what is Jennifer doing in response to that?
Well, we're not sure why she played this, but apparently rook e d1.
Right. Now you would think if you
Yeah,
going to
if
bring a rook
anything,
into play,
you bring the other
rook
in,
over,
but
yeah.
I
Or
think
maybe start advancing the pawn, moving the
pawns on the-
pawns
yeah.
up on the queen side.
Yep.
Yeah, for counterplay.
Yep.
Because white definitely needs counterplay here.
Right.
We see black's play here on the king side. It's clear what black is doing here
Right.
with the king side attack.
Right.
But white has nothing here. White has to actually create counterplay.
Right.
But playing the rook on e1 to d1, maybe she has a plan. We don't see
Yeah,
it.
we're not sure,
We're
but
not sure what it is.
in any event, Carissa
Continues,
just launches her attack now.
pushes
G3.
the pawn to g3. We see it right now.
So she's going to bust open the
Okay.
position in front of the king.
Now here is, I believe, is where Jennifer played an inaccurate move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's really in trouble, no matter what.
Yeah, because actually she's being attacked here.
Her
on the king.
her best shot was probably to put the knight here, so it blocks the rook,
Yes.
it blocks the queen.
Yes.
But
Her better move was knight
she's
f5.
still in trouble,
Right.
even with that. But
So what did she do instead?
she played f3.
Oh, okay. F3 on her 21st
Yep.
move. We see it there. We see it on our screen. Yep. So how does Carissa now continue?
Carissa just
Attacking
keeps
Carissa.
pushing.
Aggressive Carissa.
Yeah.
H3. Okay, now we have pawns are being attacked.
Yeah.
The H pawn is attacking the G pawn. The G pawn is attacking the H pawn. This is going to bust open this king side.
Yeah, without a doubt, things are going to open up.
Open up here, and this is dangerous.
So
Yeah. So what did Jennifer do?
h takes g3.
That was her 22nd move. We see it, yeah, H takes G3. And to which Carissa responded with,
H takes g2. So now
Wow.
this square is open for the
Yep.
queen to come down.
yeah, and the pawn is, of course, attacking the knight.
Pawn's attacking the knight.
And what Carissa did was capture that pawn with the king on her 23rd move.
Yeah.
King takes G2.
King takes g2.
Let's see that. King now capture. We see it. King takes G2.
And now this is a very pretty finish on Carissa's part.
Okay. Now what does Carissa do on her 23rd move?
She plays knight takes g3.
Okay. Now look at this open H file.
It's wide open.
Wide open.
Both
right,
of these
exactly.
files
Okay.
are open.
Now, what Jennifer did was capture the knight.
Capture, yeah, there's
Yeah, well, but there's
not much else
not
to do.
else to do because this allows Carissa to do what? What does Carissa do now
a very pretty
on a
finish.
24th move?
So queen h3 check.
Check, and I only see one move.
There's-
Do we
right.
see it?
Yep.
Yeah, the king has to move.
There's only one move.
And that was moving the
F2.
king. Yeah, king F. Let's see it here. Is the king move? Yep, there
Yep.
it is. The king is on the F2 square.
So now this pawn is pinned.
Yes, right.
And she finishes off by knight g4.
Okay, let's see it. Knight is going to be played
Yep.
to g4. A check on the king.
So she's forking the king and the queen, and this pawn is pinned, so it can't take.
Right, F pawn cannot take the knight on g4. And is this where Jennifer resigns?
This is where Jen resigns.
Because she loses her queen.
She's losing the queen.
And this would actually lose the game.
Yep.
Well, yeah, when you lose a queen in the game,
Yeah.
it's very rare. I don't recall ever. Of course, there are games where you lose your queen, and coming back to win. But it's,
I think I've done it. I think I've won my opponent's queen
you've done that?
and still lost.
You've done that. Great. Okay.
But yeah, in any event, she's not only going to lose the queen, but she's probably going to be checkmated
Yes.
in short order. And
Right now,
so
Carissa. Now we should let our viewers know what's happening with Carissa. Next month, let's see. This is what. Yes.
September.
Next month, they're going to be holding first the U.S. Girls Championship.
Oh, that's right.
It's going to be held on virtual. They can't be holding this in person.
Right.
So she's going to be competing in the U.S. Girls Championship, and shortly thereafter, they're going to be holding the U.S. Women's Championship,
Okay.
which will be held online. So Carissa, Carissa's back to school. She took a year off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Last year, because to pursue her chess career.
Right.
Her school. I think she goes to what was the academy in New
Is it Phillips Academy or
Phillips.
is it Andover?
Yeah, Andover. Yes, but she's back to school. In fact, I think she went back to school today. I think
Okay.
this is her first day of school.
Okay.
I don't know whether she's doing a hybrid system. Whether
Yeah.
she's going to school or staying at home. But she's competing in those two events coming up. So we have to wish her luck. And of course, if she does
So
very
it'll
well,
actually be a little easier for her, right? She doesn't have to travel.
no, that's true.
to
It'll be
compete,
easier.
so-
Right. She'll be playing from the comfort of her home.
Right.
Yeah. So we wish actually Carissa good fortune.
Yeah.
Actually in these two tournaments. Now I should go back to Brian. Did I mention Brian Bigelow winning the David Kuchar?
Yes, you did.
Secretary.
But
By
we
the
can
way,
talk about that more.
no, we can talk about that more because actually I want to give credit to Mike Camiso.
Yes, we should. Yes.
Mike Camiso, who was a guest host
Yep.
on this program some
year
time
ago,
ago.
I think. I think
Was
it
it
was
a year ago?
It was last September. Yeah.
He's a very good guest host.
Yep.
And he has been running for the Wachusett Chess Club as well as for the AIR Online Chess Club, these online tournaments, these virtual tournaments. And he ran this Dave Kuchar Sexagenarian
Right.
Open
Yep.
to commemorate your 60th birthday.
Yep.
Happy birthday
Thank
to you,
you.
by the way.
Thank you.
And I have to give a lot of credit to Mike Camiso.
Absolutely. Yep.
And he's very valuable to
Yep.
chess. He's a certified U.S. Chess Federation tournament director.
Right.
And
He's
he
been doing
organizes
it every
tournaments.
Wednesday. So our usual meeting night Wednesdays.
Yes,
He's been doing an online
right.
tournament every Wednesday night.
Yeah, and he's been doing it. And by the way, this AIR Online Chess Club, if someone were to Google AIR Online Chess Club, they would find information about their home
Yep.
because they have there's a Facebook page, I believe, that
Right.
AIR
yes.
has.
Yep.
With a listing of events,
Yep.
and a directory who plays. There's a directory of all the players
Yep.
in this tournament. So anyways, we thank our Chess Chat viewers for watching today's edition of Chess Chat. The U.S. team made it to the semifinals, but they knocked out Russia and India, finishing for a tie for first in the 2020 Chess Olympiad. See you next time on Chess Chat.